All right, converting between measurement systems. This is TEKS number 7.4E, as you see there. This was an explore activity that we actually did in class, where we explored how there is a direct conversion factor between units in the metric system and units in the customary system. So when I was in middle school a long time ago, I had a professor, or a teacher I should say, who told me that by the time you guys are my age, no one in the US is going to be using the customary system, and unfortunately his prediction did not come true. We are the lone holdout in the world, basically, of those who still use the customary and the metric system simultaneously. However, the sciences, medicine, etc., they primarily use the metric system so that they can communicate with other scientists or medical professionals across the world, and there's that one standardized system. But here in America, we still need to be able to go between the metric and the customary system. So as you see there, we have all sorts of conversions for measurements of length, weight, and mass, and capacity, also known as volume. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through 3 different examples, one that talks about length, one that talks about volume, and one that talks about weight and mass. So again, I apologize for the resolution of this particular window, but I think that you get the idea, and I'm going to have the conversions in the next slide. Okay, so let's look. As you notice here, I have inches to centimeters, milliliters to fluid ounces, and pounds to kilograms. Now, no matter what the conversion factor is, it's going to be given to you on a chart when we do take any type of assessment, whether it be quiz or a test. I'm going to give that to you so you don't have to actually memorize it, but it's going to be the exact same process. So when we look at our conversion factor, so for instance, I should say, inches to centimeters, that's going to be 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. For fluid ounces, I just want to go ahead and put this out. 1 fluid ounce. And there's a difference between a weighted ounce and a fluid ounce, as we should know, is going to be equal to approximately 29.6 milliliters. And then 1 pound is going to be equal to approximately 0.454 kilograms. Okay, so I just want to state that now. Now, this conversion factor is going to be used as a ratio that we're going to look at. And let me actually go ahead and go over these just for the sake of being able to see them, because I'm not sure how well the orange is actually showing up. So it's 29.6 milliliters. 1 pound is equal to 0.454 kilos or kilograms. 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. Okay, so with that said, we're going to use that conversion factor as a means of actually converting between the two systems. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. So if you notice here, in this particular first example, we will need to figure out how many centimeters there would be in 6 inches. So when I am determining as to which ratio, I know the ratio that I'm going to actually use, and this is an approximation, by the way. Okay, these are all approximations, and that's what those little symbols mean. Okay, this is supposed to be a squiggly line. I apologize for how poor my handwriting is right now. All right, so when I am looking at this conversion factor, when it comes to me trying to calculate the number of centimeters in 6 inches, I'm going to use one of 2 ratios. I'm either going to use the ratio 1 inch over 2.54 centimeters, or I'm going to use 2.54 centimeters over 1 inch. Okay? Now the reason that this is important is because whichever unit I'm attempting to find, whether it be inches or centimeters, I'm going to use the version of this particular ratio where the unit that I'm attempting to find is the one that's on the top. So am I trying to find inches or am I trying to find centimeters? And clearly I'm trying to find centimeters. So I'm going to use this particular version. Now I'm going to set this up as a multiplication sentence of 2.54 centimeters over 1 inch. Remember, I can make any number into a fraction by putting it over 1. Now, the way that I'm also going to be able to verify whether or not I have the right version of this ratio is if these units cross simplify. In chemistry and math coming up in high school level math, you're going to be doing something that's going to be very similar to this. I'm not going to tell you what the name is just yet, but know that it's coming. Okay, so this is in the right format, and I know because this is still left over that hasn't been crossed out, or cross-simplified, I should say. So at the end of the day, this is going to become, and I'm just going to use the numbers at this point, 6 times 2.4 over 1 times 1. So 6 times 2.4, 1 times 1. This is how multiplying fractions is. So through the magic of YouTube, I know that this is going to end up to be 15.24 centimeters. That's where I'm multiplying that out. Now, for the sake of brevity in these, I'm going to do most of the calculations for you, but you know that you would have to set up a multiplication sentence of 2.54 times 6. Okay, and this becomes 15.24 centimeters. So my conversion is going to be 15.24 centimeters. Now, I'm going to do something very similar here. I'm going to set up my two versions of the ratio. All right, I wanted to bring that in just a little bit so it wasn't quite so far off. Okay, so I'm going to set up these two versions. I have 1 fluid ounce over 29.6 milliliters, or I have 29.6 milliliters over 1 fluid ounce. Okay, so I'm going to move this over just a wee bit. Okay, so if I move this over, you can now see the end there. Okay, so being that I'm trying to find fluid ounces, just like I did in the previous example, which version of this ratio am I going to use? Am I going to use the one with fluid ounces on the top or the one with milliliters on the top? Remember, the rule was anything that I'm trying to find, I want that one to be on the top. So I'm going to use this version of that ratio. So what I will do is I'm going to set this up again as a multiplication sentence. And as I set this up, multiplication sentence again, 1 fluid ounce over 29.6 milliliters. Okay, so again, I know that I have it properly written because these two units were cross simplified, so the one that I'm trying to find is there. Now, as I multiply across, I'm going to leave the units behind for now. 17 times 1 over 1 times 29.6. Now, as I simplify this, this becomes 17 over 29.6. Now, as we know, with any multiplication sentence, okay, as I multiply across, I now have this fraction. This fraction can't be left as is. The reason that it can't be left as is because remember, a fraction is ultimately just division. I need to figure out what this is simplified. So that means that I need to divide 17 divided by 29.6. And again, through the magic of YouTube, when I figure that out, again, by setting this up as a division sentence, and again, remember, I can't divide with a number that has a decimal in the divisor. So I move this over. There's an assumed decimal place here. I fill that with a 0 and move it up here, and I just divide it out. This becomes 0.57. What unit is left over? That is fluid ounces. Okay, so my answer is 0.57 fluid ounces. So there I go. I'm going to fill this in, 0.57 fluid ounces. Okay, moving this up. Now I've already dealt with length. I've dealt with volume. Now I'm going to be dealing with mass and or weight. Okay, so again, I'm trying to find kilograms. I have my conversion factor here. I want to set up a ratio that's 1 pound over 0.454 kilos or kilograms. Or am I going to use 0.454 kilograms over 1 pound? All right, So, being that I'm attempting to find kilograms, which one am I going to use? You guessed it, I'm going to use this one over here. Okay, so again, I'm going to set up a multiplication sentence. 190 pounds, I'm going to put that over 1 and multiply this times over 1 pound. Okay, again, simplifying this out, pounds and pounds, leaving me with kilograms. Going to multiply across 190 times 0.454 over 1 times 1. When I simplify this out, 190 times 0.54, again, based on the magic of YouTube, this becomes 86.26. Of course, I would set this up as this multiplication sentence and multiply it out, but I'm going to come out to be 86.26 over 1, or just 86.26 kilograms. Okay, now that is that. That's all that you need to know for converting between measurement systems. That's 7.4e. As always, if you have any additional questions, ask me in class. Come to tutorials on Tuesday or Thursday with those questions ready. And as always, I will see you tomorrow.